I took initiation, and I was very nervous. And when I came up and he was asking me the 4 regs, I could hardly speak. And actually, when he looked at me, it was like when you have, 2 magnets, I don't know if they're opposite or what, and they go like this. Well, my head just went boing. It was so strange. My head just jerked away really quickly, and I couldn't look at him. I felt that he was looking, that he could see right through to me, and he knew exactly who I was, where I was at, whatever else. I was just thinking, it was very cleansing. I just really felt like he could see right through me, and it was too hard to take, so I couldn't look at him. And I looked back, and again, I had to look away. It was very, very intense. And then I got my beads, and and then he gave me my name, and he says, "This is a name of," he says, "My name, your name is Vrindabaneshvari. This is a name for Radharani." And it was so wonderful because it was also very funny. I had a very short name. I never liked my karmi name, and actually I had Jai Tirtha give me a devotional name 2 weeks after I joined the temple because I just didn't want to have a karmi name. And all the time I was also thinking that I wanted a really long name. My name was short, and I wanted a long name. So Prabhupada gives me this Vrindabaneshvari. It had 16 letters. Nobody for months could ever pronounce it. But it was very, very satisfying. It was just so nice. Prabhupada's mercy, he fulfilled my desire. Prabhupada was going down to San Diego for a big festival that Bhaktidas was putting on. And they asked for a couple volunteers, and I was just so, I don't know, maybe I was a Prabhupada groupie. I was just very attached to seeing Prabhupada every day, so I said, I'll go down and help for the festival. Got to do some cooking and gets a little bit more mercy from Prabhupada. So the festival was very ecstatic, and then they went, Bhaktidas had arranged for, actually I just remembered something, that Prabhupada had made a statement, and I think it was in regards to actually why Bhaktidas did this. He said we should have a festival at least once a year for no reason. Just have a big Krishna conscious festival. It doesn't have to be a holiday. So we had this wonderful, wonderful big festival down there. And then he had arranged for it was a conference, not a conference, but Prabhupada was giving a lecture. And I think it was at a school. I just remember it was supposed to be something where the people were supposed to be the intelligentsia, and and it was an auditorium, and we had our big kirtan, and Prabhupada's looking at the devotees and encouraging everyone to dance. And then when the kirtan's over, it's very quiet, and Prabhupada's there in the front. It was like a little podium, those are called. And the first question that's asked, this woman stands up and says, "Why do you shave your head?" And Prabhupada, in a heartbeat, he jumped and says, "Why do you shave your legs?" So everyone was like stunned, and there was not, you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was like, oh my gosh. We were all really scared. Prabhupada was very serious. And after a moment's pause, maybe a minute or two of silence, he says, "Better to have a cool head than cold legs." So everyone said Jai, and it just kind of broke the ice, and the Karmis were laughing, So anyways, that was all I remember of that lecture. One of the last times I saw him at the airport, this was actually when he was leaving, and he was not arriving. So when he was leaving, he had to wait for a little while, sitting in a chair and the devotees would sit around him very quietly, and we're just enjoying, seeing Srila Prabhupada. So when we got there, before he got to sit down, the devotees were chanting his big kirtan, and actually then he did sit down. He did sit down, and he had all these big guns sitting around him. I believe it was Brahmananda and some other, bodyguards, and not letting anybody get too close. There was this one older woman. I'd say we were all very young, so she was old. She was probably in her late 50s, and she always seemed a little bit, maybe a little nutty. She would come to the temple almost every day, and she had a white uniform on. We didn't know what she was. We didn't know if she was a hairdresser or a nurse or whatever. She always had white uniform on and white shoes, and she would come by and maybe once a week just give some little drop off toilet paper, just drop off some little condiments, things like that. Maybe she got them from where she worked. And she was a bit of a character. And she was there at the airport. And she was within probably about 4 feet or so away. And I saw she was anxious. She was very anxious. She wanted to get closer to Prabhupada, and she couldn't see very good. And so I was in front, and I was watching, and Prabhupada points to her, and he tells the disciple to move out of the way, get out of the chair, and let her sit down. And it was so nice to see, Prabhupada setting an example to, give the seat to this woman. And that was very wonderful to see. Je anilo premadana koruna prachu